Hi everyone, welcome to Meditation Monday, and I realize that I'm definitely late today in joining you all, but part of the reason for that is because we have construction happening in our neighborhood, so I sincerely hope that for our meditation this afternoon that some of the drilling that's been going on just settles a little bit. If it doesn't, I'm just going to continue and we can all be together and hopefully it just won't be so disruptive. Hi, Anne. Welcome. So for today's Meditation Monday, I am going to have us focus on exploring the role and kind of purpose, the service of a potentially negative feeling that you might be having toward a person or a group or a situation. But I did for today, I will be kind of speaking in these terms that the intention really is that it is for or about a person and something that perhaps you might want to heal or just have it relaxed a little bit. So for example, perhaps you have anger coming up right now toward someone. And so we'd be looking at the anger, or perhaps you're even struggling with something else with a family member, perhaps it's a colleague. But of course, when we have deeper unresolved things going on inside of us, they sometimes come out and create this picture that we tend to see other people through. And so today, we're going to focus on that and just explore it a little, really for the purpose of shifting something. And that doesn't mean that we're trying to get rid of the negative feeling. We're just taking a look at it and really sort of loving it and examining how it responds. So I wanted to give you all that intro so that you have a little bit of an understanding of what we're going to do. And when we first go inside, I will do a bit of a guided experience for you to just be checking in with your system and if this feels right to you right now in terms of working with a part of you that is feeling negative toward another person. And I know that there's just so much going on right now in terms of society and protests and the country kind of differing in many beliefs. And so the feeling could be also toward a group of people, but I do encourage you to, and perhaps if you revisit this meditation, you'll want to focus on a group of people. You can kind of see that group as one substance in your mind's eye when we go through this. But I do encourage you really for the initial round of this meditation to, if you do have something that's weighing on your heart around your relationship with a specific individual, that you go ahead and focus on that, because you may really feel some relief and something might shift. So hopefully that's the case. It's always my intention to not just have you have an experience, but to actually feel lighter afterwards, to feel more peace, to feel loved, to feel more balanced. So that said, let's go ahead and get started, and you can just relax where you're sitting. I happen to be on a chair today with some back support. You're welcome to keep your feet on the floor if you feel like you need a little grounding today. Or perhaps if the feeling that you're about to work with is one that's a little more intense, then that may also be cause to just put your feet down so that there's a little more grounding. You're not kind of floating so much. All right. So if it's comfortable to you, go ahead and close your eyes. Go ahead and take 3 nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and take your time. And just letting everything in your system relax around your breath, around your spine. Noticing any areas of tension in your body. And if you need to take another nice deep inhale, go ahead and do that as you recognize any tension in your body. Perhaps even breathing into the space that's causing any pain or any discomfort. And as you're grounding and tuning into your body, just go ahead and kind of your mind's voice. Go ahead and let your internal system know that for today's meditation, we're going to be working with a negative feeling or a challenging feeling that you have toward an individual. Probably something will come up that has been plaguing you, or even something that's fresh. Some new feelings that have some charge to them, some inflammation and irritation. And just go ahead and check in with your system as you get that feeling and the person. Just go ahead and ask in your system if it's okay that we spend some time with this feeling that you perceive as negative. Go ahead and just ask this feeling directly, almost as though it was its own little person. Go ahead and ask it if it's okay if we spend a little time with it, get to know it a little bit, with the intention of hoping that it feels better after this process. So take a minute and ask that directly, just really checking in. And if you do get a no, then perhaps it's time to just stop here. Or maybe your system wants to focus on something else. But go ahead and get permission from this feeling about this other person to just spend a little time with it. And go ahead and ask this part of you if it has a name. And see how it responds. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's hatred. Maybe it has a name that's entirely unique to it. But whatever it is, we'll honor that name that it wants to be called. I'll give you another few seconds to just get clear about that. Good. So as you have a name for this feeling that's likely pretty intense, I want you to just put yourself in a situation with this person that is challenging for you in some form. And as we go into this, really recognizing that we have so many different sides to us, that this isn't the only feeling that you have toward this person. So likely there are lots of other feelings about this person. But right now we're going to focus on just this one. This one that's challenging or hurtful. And as you feel into a situation where this feeling gets triggered, as you see that person in your mind's eye, just let the feeling be there and emerge. Really just being with it for a moment, letting it take up some space in your system. And at this stage, it's likely sometimes we have other parts come in that want to judge us for this feeling, or that maybe even hate us because of this feeling that we have toward this person. And just ask if any of those thoughts come in. Go ahead and just ask them to kind of step aside and give you a little space so that you can help this intense feeling with a little attention and care. And so as you turn your focus toward this feeling and this person, you get more and more in tune with it. And you may even see it as a form or an energy, this feeling. And if you do have any sort of visual or any sensation about it, really just tune in to you being you and kind of having a separate wisdom from this feeling. And really just tuning in to this scene of when this comes up and really just allowing this feeling to be there. And as you get curious about this feeling toward this other person, go ahead and ask it, this feeling, if it has a voice. And just giving it permission to speak whatever its words are as it expresses this feeling. And as you hear some of the story or the voice of this feeling, just extend toward it a little gratitude for sharing with you, for providing you with some information. And now go ahead and ask it, How are you trying to help me? And see how it responds. And perhaps this feeling has given you a little bit of information. Perhaps it's shared a little bit with you that it's protecting you in some way. And if it has, you can go ahead and thank it again for that information. And if you need to ask any more questions to really understand this part of you, to understand the role it's playing, now that you're in this beautiful, connected place with this feeling, go ahead and ask it anything that you're kind of curious about. And we'll spend a couple of minutes in silence, just in communion with this part of ourselves. So really remain focused on this feeling and really extending compassion and some even love toward this part of you as you begin to understand it a little more. You may want to ask it why it responds the way it does. And again, just getting curious about it and really tuning in to the questions that you have for this part of you. And go ahead and ask this part of you that we've been with today if it has anything else to share with you before we begin to close our time together. And just giving it some space to share. Really uniting with this part and letting it know that you really get it, that you're beginning to understand it more. And perhaps if it's true for you, that you'd like to get to know it even more. We're really extending your care. Now as you scan the rest of your system, just paying attention to if any other parts had jumped in that kindly moved aside, any judgment or something like that. Go ahead and just let it know if you sense that it needs some attention. In the future, you could redo this meditation with this other part of you. And if you feel like it needs attention, just let it know that you'll return. I'm really just thanking your system for the information that it gave us today. And again, kind of extending your heart that in appreciation and care, in appreciation that your system was willing to share and show you what it did today. And again, just tuning in to who you are, to your full potential, to the goodness, the light, the love that you are and that you have to give, the peace that centers and grounds you. And just breathing all that in, really receiving. And knowing that you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, you are not your emotions. And just tuning in that you are love. You are light. You are timeless wisdom. And just becoming aware of your body and where it is, to being in the spot that you're in. Perhaps you want to take another few breaths to just ground yourself back into being here now. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and join us back here. So I thank you for your participation today. So nice to have you, Anne. Glad that you're with us. And if you enjoyed this meditation or it affected you in any way, please share. It's so nice for me to understand the impact that these meditations might have, and your experience, your personal experience. I always love to understand a little more about what's happening internally for you. So if you enjoyed this, please send me a little thumbs up, a little heart, and you are welcome to this meditation anytime. I really recommend it for challenging feelings toward a specific person, and just relaxing that a little and giving a little love to your system and those parts that we sometimes judge because they're big or they're negative in some way. So may this bless you on your healing journey, and I look forward to being with you all next Monday. Peace.